Hello friends, this is Sachin and you are watching the Kumar Sachendra channel. Friends, today we are going to discuss Snake by D.H. Lawrence as you can see on the screen as well. So let us first discuss something about the poet. D.H. Lawrence, born 1885, died 1930, was an outstanding novelist of early 20th century. His novels explore the growth of human mind in relation to conscious and unconscious psychological forces and in relation to nature, family, and society. He was also a significant poet and published several collections of poems, including Words, Beasts, and Flowers, published in 1923, from which the present poem has been taken. He describes different objects and creatures of nature in the light of the emotions aroused in his mind. His descriptions are clear and exact and reveal the interplay of human mind and the environment. Instead of using fixed stanza forms, he prefers to use free verse with the lines of different lengths to present his experience of a given moment in all its fullness, the soul and the mind and the body surging at once. In the poem The Snake, D.H. Lawrence describes different feelings aroused in his mind when a snake visits his water trough and after drinking water starts moving back into a crack in the earth wall. When the poet sees the snake at the water trough before him, it appears to him like a fellow being, like a guest. He describes with admiration and sympathy its calm and contented manner of drinking water. His reasons tells him that this snake is poisonous and should be killed. But another part of his mind admires the snake and makes him feel honored that this dignified creature of nature had visited his water trough. He describes in detail its various activities and its looking around like a god unseeing into the air. However, when the snake starts going back into its dark hole, it seems unworthy of that dignified creature, and for a moment the poet's feelings of fellowship for the snake is weakened. He picks up a clumsy log and throws it at the water trough. As the snake disappears into its hole in undignified haste, the poet feels guilty of having insulted that dignified, king like snake. He feels his own behavior has been narrow minded and mean in contrast with the calm dignity of the snake. Indirectly, the poet suggests that the word of nature and the actions guided by emotions are superior to human reason. Now, let us discuss the poem in detail. Snake by D.H. Lawrence. A snake came to my water trough. Water trough is an enclosed space below the tap to prevent splashing of water onto the person taking water from the tap. In Hindi, it is known as Hodi. On a hot day, and I in pajamas for the heat to drink there. So, in these lines, the poet is saying that a snake which came to poet's water trough on a hot day, on a very hot day, and poet was also there to drink the water, and he was in his pajamas because in in summer days people in India usually wear pajamas. Okay, pajamas is a soft loose fitting trousers and a short loose shirt to be worn in bed, especially by men, but is commonly referred to as a night suit in India. In the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree. Carob tree is a tree with red flowers and bean like fruit, which is found in the regions near the Mediterranean Sea. So, in the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher. Pitcher is a large round container with handles made of clay. In Hindi, it is known as surahi or ghada. And must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. So, poet, you know, in the deep, strange scented shade of the great carob tree is known as in Hindi, it is known as people ka ped. Okay, so Through the deep strange scented shade of that carob tree, poet came down the steps, and he had his pitcher with him. He's like he had his pitcher like gada with him, to to take the water. Okay, and poet says that he needs to wait for his turn because there was already a snake before him who was also there to drink the water. As the snake was already before the poet at the water true, so poet must wait for his turn and let the snake drink water first. In India, uh, whenever somebody goes to take the water from a tap from the water true, okay, so there is line system in India, like who comes first served first. Okay, if you go to first, if you reach the tap first, you will drink the water first. Okay, so and then when you'll turn come, you will drink the water or you will take the water. Okay, so these things, poet here also treat the snake as a fellow being. He doesn't treat him as a, he doesn't treat it like as an animal. He treats him, it's like a fellow being. So he let the snake drink water first, and then he says that I will drink the water after he is done with it. Okay. He reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the ground. Sorry. He reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the gloom. Fissure is a deep crack. Earth wall is the ball made of earth or clay. And gloom means darkness. So the snake, he here is being used for snake. So the snake it came down from a fissure, from a dark hole in the earth wall, through the earth wall, from the darkness. Okay, so he reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the gloom and trailed his yellow brown slackness soft bellied down. Trailed means pulled along, slackness means lax or relaxed body. So on his soft bellied, the snake came, the snake came, pulled along his body in a relaxed manner over the edge of the stone true and rested his throat upon the stone bottom. So over the edge, on the edge of the stone true, the the snake put his face and he put his throat on the stone bottom. On the stone bottom, that is of the water true. Okay, and where the water had dripped from the tap in a small clearness. So from the place where the water was being dripping from the tap, there is a whenever the water drips from a tap, there is a one place which where the water is very clear. So the snake put his throat in that space where the water was very clear. Okay, so the snake was very clever, and it is usually known as the snakes is a very clever creature. So this thing shows here that he was drinking water from the clear side. He sipped with his straight mouth, softly drank through his straight jumps into his slack long body silently. So the snake sipped the water through his mouth, with his straight mouth. He drank the waters very softly and through his straight jumps. Okay, into his slack body. Slack means into his lean body, lean long body silently. So he was drinking water very silently. He was very silent while drinking the water. Okay, someone was before me at buying water true, and I like a second comer waiting. So same thing has been mentioned here, that somebody was already there before the poet could reach the water true. So poet must wait because he was a second comer, as I told you earlier, the story of this all that. Okay, he lifted his head from his drinking as cattle do, and looked at me vaguely as drinking cattle do, and flickered his two-forked tongue from his lips, and mused a moment, and stooped and drank a little more. So while the snake was drinking water, the poet was looking at the snake, and so the snake noticed it and he lifted his head from drinking. While he was drinking, he lifted his head and he looked at the poet, as you know, cattle do. Like the cattle, whenever the cattle are drinking water, if you are looking at them, they will stop drinking the water and they will look at you. They will turn their head and they will look at you, and then again they will start drinking the water. Okay, same thing is doing the snake here. He was drinking the water. He noticed that somebody is looking at him, somebody is staring at him, that is poet, and so he lifted his head and looked back at the poet and then again start drinking the water. Okay, and flickered his two forked tongue from his lips. Flickered means moved backwards and forwards unsteadily. Okay, so when he looked at the poet, he flickered his tongue. You know, the like, if you have seen the snakes, you must have seen that how they flicker, how they flicks their tongues. The snake, how they flicks their tongues. So in that manner, he flickered his tongue and mused a moment. And mused means thought dreamily. He thought for a moment. And then again he stooped. Stooped means bent downwards. So again he bent down his bodies, he bent down his throat and drank a little more water. Being earth brown and earth golden. So here the poet is mentioning his color, the kind of color of the snake was. Being earth brown, earth golden from the burning bowels of the earth on the Sicilian July with Etna smoking. Sicilian means of Sicily, a large island in the southwest part of Italy. Etna means the name of a great active volcano in Sicily. So, the snake came out of the earth in the burning bowels, from the burning bowels in the sense that it was hot summer day. Okay, so earth was very warm, earth was like burning at that day. Okay, so in that kind of atmosphere, the snake came out from that thing. Okay, the voice of my education said to me, he must be killed, for in Sicily the black snakes are venomous. The voice in poet, the inner side of the poet was saying to him that this snake must be killed, because he was told from the childhood that the the gold snakes are venomous, and so they must be killed. Whenever you see a snake, you must kill it. Either you will kill it or he will kill you. That is the kind of feeling one have. Whenever one sees snakes, that is the kind of feeling one have, that either you must kill the snake or the snake will kill you. Okay, so it is told from the childhood. In India, it is told from the childhood that whenever you see a snake, you must kill him. Okay, so that kind of education also told the poet to do the same thing. But what he do? Let us see. And voices in me said, if you were a man, you would take a stick and break him now and finish him off. And now his inner side is testing his abilities. His inner voice was telling to him that if you were a man, if I were at your place, if I were a man, I would take a stick and break him now and finish him off. In one instant, I will kill him. The inner voices is testing his abilities. Okay, testing his manpower. Here, let us discuss what he do again. But must I confess how I liked him? Confess means admit. So the poet liked the snake very much. How glad I was he had come like a guest in quiet to drink at my water true. The poet was very glad because the snake had come like a guest at his water true to drink the water and depart peaceful, pacified, and thankless into the burning bowels of this earth. Depart means to leave or go away. Pacified means made calm, quiet, and satisfied. Okay, so the snake had come to drink the water at the poet's water true, and after drinking the water, he will depart, he will go away, pacified, satisfied. After drinking the water, he will go away, pacified, peacefully. He didn't say anything to the poet, so why should he kill him? Though he was thankless, he didn't thank the poet because he drinks the water at poet's water truth. So he must thank the poet, but he didn't thank him. But on the other side, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong with the poet. So why should the poet kill him? He will return to his burning bowels of this earth. He will return to his usual place. after drinking the water. So why should the poet kill him? This kind of questions what the poet was asking himself. Okay, let us read the next lines. Was it cowardice that I dare not kill him? Now the poet is asking himself questions. He was making sure that he was right or wrong in not killing the snake. So the poet is saying that was it cowardice that I dare not kill him? Or was it perversity that launched to talk to him? Perversity means willfully or knowingly choosing what is contrary to reason. So his reasons were telling him to kill the snake, but he did it just the opposite. He didn't kill the snake. Okay, because he wanted to. He wanted to talk to the snake. Was it humility to feel so honored? So is it humility to feel so honored in not killing the snake? Because I felt so honored. The poet was feeling so honored to have the snake, the king-like snake, as a guest. Was it humility? If you had asked somebody, if the poet has asked somebody, he would surely have told him that this is humility. But the poet thinks the another way. The poet thinks the other ways. Okay, let us read the upcoming lines. And yet those voices, if you were not afraid, you would kill him. And again those inner voices telling to the poet, if you were not afraid, you would have killed him. Okay. And truly I was afraid. I was most afraid. Here poet admitted that he was really afraid. But even so, honored still more. But though he was afraid, but he was feeling honored much more than afraidness, much more than horror. Okay. Then he should seek my hospitality from out the dark door of the secret earth. That the snake, he was feeling honored because the snake came out from the dark hole of the earth and of the secret earth. The snakes lives in secret places. Nobody knows where they lives. Okay, so from the secret place he came out to become the guest of the poet to drink the water at his water true. And that is why he was feeling honored, because the king was drinking the water like a king. Let us read the next lines. He drank enough and lifted his head dreamily as one who has drunken. So the snake drank enough water, and after drinking the water, he lifted his head, okay, in a dream-like situation, as one who has drunken. So he lifted his head like a drunkard, like he has drunk the drink the wine. He has drunk the wine. So he lifted his head like that, and flickered his tongue like a forked knife on the air, so black, seeming to lick his lips. And again he flickered his tongue. Once again the snake flickered his tongue after drinking the water. He again flickered his tongue. Okay, and his tongue was so black, and it was seeming that he was trying to lick his lips. Okay, and looked round like a god, unseeing into the air. And the snake had a feeling of being a god. He looked around himself like a god, unseen that nobody was seeing him, and he looked into the air and slowly turned his head. And once again slowly he turned his head, and slowly, very slowly, as if thrice a dream, proceeded to draw his slow length curving round and climb again the broken bank of my wall face. A dream means lost in dreams, dreaming. Bank means slope. So once again, after turning his head, the snake once again after drinking the water, he headed towards his usual place and climbed the broken bank of the wall face. The earth wall face of the earth wall, the bank was broken, and he tried to climb that bank to reach to its usual place, to its dark hole. And as he put his head into that dreadful hole, and as he slowly drew up, snake easing his shoulders and entered farther. Snake easing his shoulder means relaxing his shoulders the way a snake does. A sort of horror a sort of protest against his withdrawing into that horrid black hole, deliberately going into the blackness. Deliberately means without any hurry, slowly, and slowly drawing himself after. Overcame me now, his back was turned. So, after drinking the water, the snake climbed up the broken bank of the earth wall, and as he put his head into the dreadful hole, so he put the dreadful hole, he put his head into the dreadful hole where from where he had come, and he was trying to draw himself up into the hole. He was trying to get into the hole, and he was trying to climb all his body one by one. Okay, in a very relaxed manner he was trying to enter the hole again, once again, in a very relaxed manner. And as he entered further, as he was trying to enter fully into the hole, a sort of horror, a kind of horror, entered in the poet's mind, and that he is again like entering the hole of my whole face. Okay, so kind of horror entered into poet's mind, that if he's trying to again entering my earth's wall, so there is kind of horror, remains in a man's mind, that he might, we again might met somewhere, and he might kill me, he might dunk me. So that is kind of horror. That was usual, there was nothing extraordinary, that was usual, that a kind of sort of horror, a sort of protest against his withdrawing into that horrid black, that he was again trying to enter into that horrid black hole. So a kind of horror entered into the poet's mind. Okay, deliberately going into the blackness and slowly drawing himself after. So he was trying to, he was without any hurry, very slowly he was trying to enter into the blackness, and he was trying to pulling his whole body afterwards. Okay, and as he entered his head into the black hole, so his back was turned towards the poet. So what he do after that? I looked around, I put down my pitcher, I picked up a clumsy log and threw it at the water trough with a clatter. Clatter means noise made by the log as it hit the wall. Clumsy means awkward, difficult to handle or control. So as the snake's back was turned to poet, he thought that this is the best time to kill him, because he was not looking at the poet. His back was turned towards poet. So the poet looked around, and he put down his pitcher. He picked up a clumsy and awkward log and threw it at the water trough with a clatter. Okay, as he threw the clumsy log at the water trough, there was kind of noise made by the log as it hit the wall. Okay, I think it did not hit him, but suddenly that part of him that was left behind convulsed in an undignified haste. Convulsed means moved violently. Undignified haste means in its hurried movement it no longer looked calm and grand. So the log that the poet threw at the snake or at the water trough, he thought that it did not hit the snakes, but immediately, in an instant, that part of the snake where that clumsy log hit, that moved violently in an undignified haste, very fast, it moved violently, and it no longer looked calm and grand, and the snake immediately goes into that dark hole, wreathed like lightning, and was gone into the black hole. The earth-lipped fissure in the wall front, at which in the intense still noon I stared with fascination. Wreathed means twisted its body. Earth-lipped fissure means the deep crack whose outer edges in the earth wall were rounded like slips. Still means quiet or silent. So the snake twisted its body like lightning and the deep crack, and he was gone into that black hole into that deep crack whose outer edges in the earth wall were rounded like lips. So the snake goes into the deep crack, and in that still noon, so in that hour of the noon, the snake entered into that dark hole again. When the poet hit a clumsy log into the onto the snake, and poet stared with at the snake. The poet stared at the snake with fascination that how fast he entered the dark hole when poet hit him with the log. So that is kind of a, you know, that scene was kind of watching scene. Let us read other lines. And immediately I regretted it. So the poet regretted it immediately. And I thought, how paltry, how vulgar, what a mean act. Paltry means showing a small mind or spirit. Pity. Vulgar means ill mannered or in bad taste or very low. Mean means ungenerous or unworthy. Suppose thought the act of hitting the snake with the clumsy log was a kind of small act, was a kind of ill mannered act, and was a kind of ungenerous act. I despised myself and the voices of my accursed human education. So, poet cursed himself. Accursed means which deserves to be cursed or is under a curse. This word also shows extreme dislike. So poet disliked his education. The poet disliked or accursed himself as well as the inner voices of his human education. Accursed human education means the poet describes his human education as hateful because it had prompted him to attack the poisonous snake even when the snake was not going to cause any harm and was slowly and calmly going back in a dignified manner. His thoughtless act of throwing a log at it destroyed the king like dignity of the grand snake. And I thought of the albatross. Thought of the albatross means the poet became aware of having committed a great sin thoughtlessly against a noble creature of nature. The poet has taken the reference of the albatross from Coleridge's poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, where a sailor thoughtlessly kills an albatross, a magnificent bird that visited their ship, and after that all his life he suffers from a terrible sense of guilt which no amount of repentance can atone for. And I wished he would come back, my snake. So poet at that time wished that the snake would come back, and the poet again will hospitalize him, and that's how he can repent whatever he had done. But life doesn't give this chance again. Okay, let us read another lines. For he seemed to me again like a king in exile, uncrowned in the underworld, now due to be crowned again. Underworld means the world of beings living under the surface of the earth. So again, the snake seemed to the poet like a king in exile who has not been crowned and who is due to be crowned, who is going to be crowned again, once again, very soon. Okay, and so I missed my chance with one of the lords of life. And so the poet missed the chance of hospitalizing, of giving the hospitality to one of the lords of life. And I have something to expiate a pettiness. Expiate means to atone for, to make up for a sinful act by undergoing punishment and doing something to show one's repentance. Pettiness means narrow mindedness. So now poet had something to atone for. Okay, for the sinful act that he had done, he had to atone for that act by undergoing some kind of punishment or showing repentance. That's why he was wishing that the snake would again must come back to the poet's water true. Pettiness means narrow mindedness. So the act of throwing clumsy log at the snake was a kind of narrow mindedness of the poet, and poet regretted it. But still, there was nothing that poet can do right now. That was the thing of the past. So here our present poem ends. I hope you understand the poem, because I have tried to translate the poem in a very easy and simple language. And still, if you have any doubt, you can write down in the comment section, and I will try to answer that thing. Okay, this much all in this lecture. Thank you very much for joining us. Please stay tuned for further such lectures, and please like, share, and subscribe the channel.